So, not all of us, but some of us have a semi decent relationship with our parents. And we know that they raised us based off of what they were taught, what they learned from their parents, and generations. So, let's remember to extend grace to our parents and not do this give let's not give them a hard time because they were ignorant when they were raising us. Like, okay, now we're adults. Now we're like, okay, I didn't like how they raised me. I can raise my kids better and I can do better moving forward. But don't sit up here and be mean to them. You know what I'm saying? The whole time for what they did. Now, abuse is abuse. And I know some of us have experienced either semi or somewhat things that were technically abuse that were considered discipline. So I'm not saying if your parents had you in a cage like an animal that you're supposed to forgive them, but some of us know that our parents, grandparents were not good parents. And I feel like that we still need to expand or extend grace to our parents because they raised us with what they thought was supposed to have been done for us and have our best interest in mind. So essentially, I say don't be passive aggressive. Like, if you have learned some different things and you have the opportunity or the moment to have a conversation with your parents about, hey, this is what you used to do to me as a kid, this is how it made me feel, but me realizing, oh, okay, this is how your mother raised you and you thought it was okay, but really it wasn't. And now, I'm learning a different way that I want to parent my kids because I don't want to do the same things that we did. What's wrong with having that conversation with them? If they're like not mature enough or not open-minded enough to hear you out about that, okay. But sometimes I feel like we have this passive aggressiveness that we have with our parents, and I feel like I have it with one of my parents, specifically my mom, because we were talking yesterday and we were talking about how I feel like there's this weird relationship, and this might just be with certain type of parents, or maybe it's black parents, I don't know, but like it's a weird transition going from I'm your adult or I'm your child to now I am this thriving adult. I have my own place, my own space. I'm getting my stuff together. I have careers and goals and all these other things. And then they want to have these regular conversations with you about your life and relationships and blah, 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 blah. Um, and I know sometimes some things she says still trigger me. And I just realized that it's a passive aggressive that I still have problems with her because I was like, oh yeah, you used to work all the time. She's like, well, I had to. I work nights. And I'm like, okay. So I was always with my dad. And I'm like, oh yeah, you were working and you guys work different shifts, da 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 da. But it's like, hmm. So what I'm saying is instead of you sitting up here running to TikTok and telling all these toxic stories about how terrible your parents were and how, abusive or mean or da 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 that they were, how about you actually have that conversation with them and see how it goes? And again, some people, they have tried to have these conversations and they did or did not fare well. But everybody is not going to be open and receptive to the truth. But it's some people who go straight to the internet to talk about their people, and you never have a conversation with them a day in your life because you're too afraid to sit up here and having a conversation and be like, you know what, you are not a good person, or you are not a good parent, or you were mean to me, you were a bully, you were this, and I didn't appreciate it and it made me feel this way. Sometimes y'all just need to be like, I'm gonna have this conversation with him. Either you gonna hear me. Sometimes it's like, let me say it this way. Sometimes it's like this is sitting in your heart, literally sitting in your heart, and every time you speak to them or you have a conversation with them, your heart in that spot, it's sore. So instead of walking around with a sore heart about how your parents raised you or what they did or didn't do for you, or and this goes for anybody, tell them. Have a conversation with them. Do not expect it to go anyway. Other your mission in that conversation is I'm going to tell you how I feel. Don't do this in inappropriate situations. Like make the situation appropriate. But I'm just saying, get it off your chest and stop holding it in your heart and stop keeping it as a sore space because what is that doing? Hurting you.